Good evening, YouTube, VC, record collectors, music lovers, or anyone who might find themselves watching this video. It's Friday night here in Norway. I have opened a bottle of beer, just kicking back and relaxing. Cheers. And just listening to some American Psych, progressive and hard rock records, which is the theme for this video. I have some recent finds, acquisitions to show you, and I pulled a stack of records out of my collection. And I got quite a few records to show you, so let's just start, shall we? First of all, I would like to give a shout out to Ron at the Hogs Ear Report. I find his channel very informative and amusing to watch, because Ron has a great knowledge on American psychedelia and garage rock and progressive rock, and he has shown quite a few obscure American psych records which have caught my interest, and I managed to get some of the records he has shown, and I would like to thank Ron for recommending those good records and showing them and bringing them to my attention. What we are listening to in the background is Ford Theater, which was a Boston psychedelic rock band. They released 2 albums. The first one, was Trilogy for the Masses, and was released on ABC Records in 1968. This is a wonderful piece of music, and the first suite or song, if you like, 101st Harrison Street, and the Trilogy for the Masses suite is very reminiscent of Bonnie Tyler's Total Eclipse of the Heart. Some say that she nicked the main theme from Ford Theater and used in her mid-80s gigantic hit. I don't know, but I hear the resemblance. Well, that's what's playing now. First of all, just the other day in my mail, this one arrived. The Head Shop from 1968 or 9, I believe. This is a recommendation from Ron at the Hogs Ear Report, and it's a wonderful, fantastic piece of psychedelia, weird and obscure, with elements of garage rock. And this is a reissue. Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to score an original, but this is on World Sound, and it's a very good pressing and good recreation of the cover, and it sounds very good. These are the labels. What's funny about this release is the insert. I don't know whether I can show it, but it's got a bit of a story of the band and a nice picture of the members, and there's an original advert for the album from an adult magazine. Quite funny, I think. Nice insert there for you. Check the Head Shop on YouTube. Most of the album is there, and it's unlike anything else, I think. Perhaps the weakest point of this album are the 2 Beatles covers, although good songs, but I think the originals are much more exciting. So a good recommendation, The Head Shop. The second recommendation from Ron at Hogs Ear Report, and many other VC members have shown this album as well. It's a record which arrived yesterday, and it's SRC. their self-titled debut from 1968 released on Capitol Records. This is a reissue, and I don't know if it's a legit reissue, but it's nice heavyweight vinyl on the Rainbow Capitol label, nicely reproduced there. And this is my new favorite album, at least for this month, I guess. I have given this at least 10 spins on the turntable since yesterday when it arrived. I just simply love this album. The song Black Sheep, of course, it's a standout track, and the next Daystar, wonderful. And I think all of the B-side is very, very strong. Actually, all the songs excite me. I love the way the very fuzzy guitar plays melodic lines all the way through, and just a wonderful piece of music. And look at the cover art. So thank you, Ron, for showing and recommending that record. Just wonderful. I would love to have an original, but you don't come by those every day. The next band I would like to show is something I discovered all by myself, actually. It's a band from the USA called Bang. And this is not their first record, but this is the first record I got, an original on Capitol Records. This is from 1971 or 72, I believe, and it's on the Red Capitol label. Now, I don't know. Some say the Green Capitol is the first press, but it was quickly changed to the Red label. I don't know. But this is an original pressing as far as I know. And this is very good, solid heavy rock. Not so much Psych, but more in the heavy rock vein. And I think this is their best album. I also managed to find some reissues of their albums. Their first was, I guess, this one. Mother and Bow to the King. Mother and Bow to the King. This is released on a Scandinavian label called Swart Records. And these are limited color editions. I think 300 copies on colored vinyl with nice exact repro covers in thick cardboard. Very nice quality there. And the vinyl itself is very heavy, and quality pressings from Swart Records. Let me show you the label. So, if you're into Bang, the American hard rock band, now's the time to get the reissues. 300 copies on colored vinyl, I think, and a little higher number on the standard black editions. Another Bang album is Death of a Country. This was never released in the 70s, I think, but it's an old recording, I believe. I haven't had a chance to hear this yet, as it has just arrived, but I think it's an old recording just released. And this is also on Swart Records. Also on colored vinyl. This is on blue vinyl. Very nice there. Nice blue color. And I don't think it's 180 grams, but perhaps 160 grams or something like that. But very nice quality pressings, and just look at those sleeves. Wonderful. There's a nice picture of the band. Bang, that is. Now, Bang never made it quite commercially, but they released one more album back in the day, Bang Music. And the cover looks a bit cheesy, but I had to buy it to complete my Bang discography. And this is also a reissue on Swart Records. and this time it's on red wax. 300 copies. And some of these do have inserts. I believe one of these albums had a 7-inch single. Yes, this one, Bang Music, also has a 7-inch single accompanying the LP release. Slow Down feels nice and Make Me Pretty, with a nice picture sleeve there. I think the single is on black vinyl. No, it's on red vinyl as well. So a nice little 7-inch EP there. I think it's also in the black version. Now, as I said, I haven't had the chance to listen to either both Bang Music and this one, but I will. I have, however, listened to Mother and Bow to the King, and I find the strongest point of Bang are their more heavy stuff. I don't care too much for their ballads or more acoustic stuff, but really solid heavy rockers on the albums there. And the first Bang album I showed, that's solid throughout. I recommend you get that one. Not too expensive either. Okay, one more recommendation from the Hogs Ear Report. I believe it is Ron who has shown that, but I'm not sure. But it's Gandalf, another US psychedelic band from, I believe this was released in 1968 or 69. It was recorded in 66 or 67, but it was held back by Capitol Records for 2 years, and the band disintegrated into obscurity. And actually I think it sounds a bit dated for its release date in 68 or 69. It's a good album, but it hasn't settled in my ears yet. But it's nice. It's full of cover tunes, Golden Earrings, Hang On to a Dream, etc, etc. But there's something about it which I like, which I can't define yet, but I will give it more spins. But this is of course a repressing, and I think it's perhaps not a legit one, but anyway, it's a fairly good pressing. If it grows upon me, maybe I start looking for an original, but they are expensive, so I don't know. Well, let's have a drink to that. Cheers! The next album I most definitely remember Ron at Hogs Ear Report showed, and I immediately went online and searched out the album and was totally amazed. And I don't know why I haven't heard about them before, but perhaps because they are so obscure. But at least Ron showed the American version. I have the UK version of the United States of America. And I do not believe these originally came with the paper bag. I don't know. I think the US ones only on Columbia Records had the brown paper bag. But this is the British, the UK first mono pressing. And I managed to score this off of Discogs. And I bought it believing it was a stereo version, so I got it for quite an affordable price. And I was pleasantly surprised to find that it was the mono version. And here's the wonderful CBS Walking Eye label. Somehow, I don't know why, but I love that label design. The orange and the walking eye design is nothing short of fantastic, I think. But this album is an exquisite piece of avant-garde psychedelic pop rock with lots of electronic noises fluttering around, and songs like the metaphysical, the American Metaphysical Circus, and Where Is Yesterday, the Cloud Song, I think it's called, Cloud Song, and the Garden of Earthly Delights. Wow, just wonderful. This is next to SRC, this is my favorite of the month, and I'm so pleased to have an original UK pressing of that one. Well, that was the recent finds. Now I will start on the pile of records which I've pulled out of my own shelf. Start with Bloodrock 2, excellent hard rock from the United States of America, an original here on Capitol. I think it's the green label. Just good, solid, heavy rock. I unfortunately haven't got there first, but I'm seeking for that one. The next one is a reissue of Balderdam, and I'll be damned if I find an original. They're scarce. No, they're actually very rare. But this repressing from Gerson Records, I think that's a European record company which specializes in reissuing old obscurities. This record is fantastic. Excellent heavy rock from early 1970 or 71. 71. Yes, these are the Gerson labels. And I have to settle for this one because I don't think I'll ever be able to find an original at all. And if I do, it will probably be too pricey for me. This Gerson re-release came with a nice double-sided insert with an interview from the vocalist. What's his name? Ron Reffett, where he tells the story of the band and the story of the recording of the album. And actually he tells that they just pressed 200 copies of the original, and most of them were sold to their fans, local fans, or given away to friends and family. So it wasn't distributed throughout the United States, and certainly not throughout the rest of the world. So finding an original is next to impossible, I think. But this re-release will have to do. And if you haven't heard Balderdam, be sure to do it now. Well, sorry, I have to cut there and flip the record, but I'll be back with more records. Well, let's continue with the pile of US Psych and hard rock records, shall we? The next one I guess you have all heard about. It's Sir Lord Baltimore, their first album, Kingdom Come. This is an original which are not hard to find at all, on Mercury Records, with a nice gatefold sleeve there. And this is a unipack sleeve, which I don't care too much for, but that's the way the originals came. Solid album, good hard rock, but most people find their first album the better one, but I actually think I like the second one even better. It's just called Sir Lord Baltimore, and I think this was released in '72 on Mercury Records as well, in a unipack sleeve. What's fun about this is that it's a white label promo. And I don't know how a white label promo has found its way all the way to Norway from the United States, but it's a sure it's a nice thing to find. I'm very pleased with that one. So, Sir Lord Baltimore, solid heavy rock, their 2 albums. Wow, this one I picked up just for fun because I love the track Spirit in the Sky. Norman Greenbaum. I just found this very cheap at the flea market here in Norway on the original, I think, reprise or reprise label. I don't know. I think that's original with the red steamboat. It's a nice album, but the track which stands out is, of course, his hit Spirit in the Sky. Just a fun item to have when you stumble upon it for a nice price. The next one I pulled out was Morning Dew. And this is a wonderful psychedelic garage rocking album from 1968, I believe. And this is of course a repressing on Akama. The original Roulette issue is way too expensive for me right now, at least. But of course I hope to find an original. The next one is called Lost Nation, and this is more progressive slash hard rock from 1970 on Rare Earth, the Motown sub-label, and this is quite a good album, I think. I haven't seen it being mentioned or shown by any VC members, but perhaps it has. I was lucky to stumble upon this one for a quite affordable price. And if you're into more heavy rock oriented slash progressive rock from that era, this is really recommendable. And at the same time I found Stark Naked, which is a similar band to Lost Nation. Heavy rock with progressive elements. This is also a very strong album with the typical Hammond organ, fuzz guitars, and even fuzz bass in some parts. Male and female vocals. And it was released on the Dynaflex. This is not vinyl, as you can see. It's quite flexible. And I heard a lot of negative comments about Dynaflex, and I guess most people are perhaps right, but this is actually a very nice pressing. It sounds good. The Dynaflex is very flimsy, but it sounds good. But I think this inner sleeve is quite fun. I'll show it to you. The RCA record you are holding is a Dynaflex record. It is thinner than any other record you have ever owned. It's superior in many ways to any other records you have ever owned, and so forth. So, quite a positive commercial on Dynaflex from RCA themselves there. But I really recommend you go pick up a copy of Stark Naked. I was lucky to find that here in Norway. Well, what's up next? Next up is Fever Tree, which you of course have heard about. A slightly beaten copy there, a little bit of ring wear. I think this is their last album for sale. And yeah, I heard some Fever Tree stuff, and I think they have their moments, but this album I think it's kind of weak. It's on Ampex Records. I think that's an original. Got some covers here. I Put a Spell on You, which many other bands have done excellent versions of. And She Comes in Colors. And on the B side, there's a 12-minute and 55 seconds version of Hey Joe, which has also been covered to death by many greats. And actually I don't think Fever Tree did a very good job at covering Hey Joe, but that's my thought. That's my opinion anyway. I think they just repeat Hey Joe 3 times in 3 different arrangements to fill up the B-side. Well, It's a keeper, but it got its moments, but throughout it's not a very solid album, I think. But who knows, one day I might change my mind. The next one, however, The Little Boy Blues. This is a very fine psychedelic album indeed. I just love it. The first track, what is it called again? I think I have to pull out the record. It's an original on Fontana Records. I don't think it has been repressed. But the first, yes, Cathedral. Wow, what a tune. And the other tunes as well. This sounds quite original, I think. Wonderful band, wonderful songs, quirky songs with quite standard instrumentation, but performed in a way which doesn't sound like anything else, I think. I like this album a lot. What I don't like is the American cardboard covers. Easy to split, difficult to get the records inside. Ah, shit. Sorry. Well, if you haven't heard Little Boy Blues, you have to go and have a listen to this record. Ah, yes, just leave it outside. The record is called In the Woodlands of Where. Or Where. Now, then it's time for some Detroit hard rock blues, and it's Frigid Pink and their only album in my possession. This is their second album, Defrosted, which I found at the flea market for a bargain. Sadly, it has a sticker tear here from an old ceiling sticker, but the record itself is near mint. And this is a UK pressing on Durham. An original pressing, I believe, with the original stereo inner sleeve. And I was very happy to find this one. And I guess you know Frigid Pink. Their biggest hit was their cover version of House of the Rising Sun, which sounded nothing like Animal's version. Much more power and raw. And their first two albums are quite scruffy in their production, which suits the music very fine indeed. So, really recommend Frigid Pink Defrosted. Now I have to search out their first album. The last band I want to show you, I have shown on a video before on my favorite records for the time being, I think it was. But it's J.D. Blackfoot and The Ultimate Prophecy. I just have to show that again. Wonderful American psychedelic rock. The first side starts off with more standard rockers with a little bit of country elements, but sound like a bit of scruffy, heavy Creedence Clearwater. But when you flip to side B and you have The Ultimate Prophecy, the sweet on the whole B side, it turns very psychedelic and wild. This is perhaps one of my all-time favorite albums, and I think it was Matt Sands in the VC who showed this the first time it grabbed my attention, and wow, what an album. So thank you, Matt Sands. I like the albums as so much, so I even got myself a UK copy with the alternative cover with the monk on the beach. There you go. And this is on the Black Mercury label. And then I stumbled upon the Dutch edition with the same cover as the UK, but as a gatefold. And this you don't see too often, with the picture of the band inside, which is on the insert of the American version, and this has the blue Mercury labels. And another major label company, label design which I love, is the Red Mercury label from the US. Just as with the CBS label, which is the UK branch of Columbia Records, I love those simple but very effective and nice label designs from those major labels. Well, that's all I have pulled out today. I have many more. I have a couple more US Psych and hard rock and some garage albums. So perhaps I'll make another video. But I hope you have seen something interesting, and perhaps you knew all the records from before. But anyway, thanks for having a look, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so if you wish. Bye for now.